Welcome back to Cleveland Stage Door. Today we've got someone truly commanding the room. Hamilton has taken over Playoff Square in Cleveland, and joining us is A.D. Weaver, the powerhouse performer, bringing George Washington to life in the U.S. tour of Lin-Manuel Miranda's Broadway blockbuster. But before leading the revolution, he was already making waves in iconic shows like Rent and Little Shop of Horrors. We're talking all things Hamilton, life on the road, his journey through musical theater, and why this production continues to electrify audiences night after night. Stay tuned, you do not want to throw away your shot at this one. And joining me now is A.D. Weaver from Hamilton, George Washington. Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man.
Man, talk about a incredible role for you. And one of my favorite shows of all time is coming to Playoff Square June 17th through July 6th. And
Yeah,
tell me, what is it like to play such an incredible role like George Washington?
playing this role for me is the perfect storm of every experience that I have had throughout my life coming together to catapult me to creating an art that is depthful and that is more than one dimensional and that is grounded in truth.
I love that. I love that. And tell me, would you say that George Washington is like one of the more challenging roles you've had so far?
Absolutely. I tell a lot of people. So when I first approached the role, there's the monument, George Washington. You know, you think of George Washington, you think of George. You know what
Yeah.
what follows that thought of George Washington. So coming to it, I had all of that pressure and wanting the audience to appreciate and see me as this monument, as this person. But it was maybe a few weeks into the process where I realized that what will make my interpretation different, what will make my interpretation ring true is that if I allow the humanity to seep through.
Mhm.
He has so much pressure on him, and he is George Washington, right? So just imagine the pressure of being George Washington while you're George Washington, while you're in those circumstances. And people often see the victories and they see the end result, but they don't see what you had to deal with the moment those challenges arrived. Like, how did you handle that moment to moment? What was it like having to make those decisions in the heat of the battle? What was it like having to pivot your strategy? What was it like finding out that someone you trusted was actually a spy? What was it like being the president and knowing every decision that you make affects an entire nation of people for
Mm.
45 years?
Yeah, yeah. Very true. Very, very true. So before we dive more into your role as George Washington, let's dive into your history so that we can line that up better. You have experience, you've tackled some incredible roles. You were in Little Shop of Horrors and Rent. That's
Yeah, yeah.
quite the resume, plus a bunch more that I haven't listed here. How did your experience in iconic shows like Rent and Little Shop of Horrors shape you as and prepare you for a role like Washington?
I've had the incredible honor of carrying a gift that God gave me that has allowed me to cross techniques, cross styles, and cross genres of music, and being able to sustain doing those 8 shows a week. Singing a Little Shop 8 shows a week is not the same as maybe singing a Javert 8 shows a week. There's a whole lot more
Mm,
grit. There's a
mm.
whole lot more guts that you gotta pull from. Um, Having the technique to be able to pull from both sides to create this sound, but also the technique to sustain it, has prepares you for the road. I mean, the touring with a show is no easy feat. We haven't even gotten to doing the show, but touring with the show and what it does to your body, what it can do to your mental, having to be able to pull from all those different levels of strengths just to get to the theater. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. I agree. And I saw a clip of you performing Rent on, I think it was your YouTube page, and it
Yeah,
was absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I suggest everybody to go YouTube that, because that performance was
let's
incredible.
do that. I'll cover
So
you
good.
video, right?
I think so,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was so good. So good.
Appreciate it.
So let's dive into this. Do you have any personal connections to Washington's leadership or challenges in the show, would you say?
Yes, when I say being able to bring, life experience and such to the role, I've always found myself in positions of leadership, whether I wanted to or whether I didn't. To whom much is given, much is required. It's funny. I was just having a conversation with one of my with my castmates yesterday about growing up in church. When you're gifted and you have these talents, you're sometimes thrusted to the front and you're put into leadership roles from a very early age, and you're tasked with um, nurturing and developing other gifts of people who are sometimes 30 and 40 years your senior, when you yourself are just trying to figure out lunch money. I have a history final tomorrow that I did not study for, but also I got to teach the choir 7 new songs. So just that pressure and having that extra level of awareness and maturity early on, I understand that weight when just times I just wanted to be one of the guys, but
Yeah.
it was no, you have to go and do this. You have to go handle this responsibility. You have to go handle that responsibility. Those are just the things that I pull from that help me understand just the weight of what this guy is going through, and then the weight of mentoring a Hamilton essentially and watching him be a hothead, and having to rein him in, and getting vulnerable and saying, "Hey, I know what this road leads to. Learn from my bleep ups, and you'll be golden. Because I didn't go through this for you to then be my right hand man and do this all over."
Yes, that's great. Is there a favorite moment you have on stage that always gives you chills or hits differently each night?
Every single night, man. You may have heard me say this on other outlets, but it still holds true today, 10 months later into this tour. No matter who you are, where you come from, what you have, what you acquired, everybody wants to feel special. Everybody wants to feel a part of something special. At the top of the opening number, at the end of the opening number, when me and my cast, all 20 of us who are on stage at that moment, are in this timeline across the stage, I look
Mm,
to my left and I look to my right, and I see 20 of the most talented, amazing people in the world that I get to do this thing with. It's a powerful, validating, reassuring moment that, man, I'm here with these people and I think so highly of them that I'm worthy of doing this thing with them. And it just sets us on our way for the next 2.5 hours.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's incredible. My favorite part is, and I'm not saying this because you're on the call, but my favorite part, I always get goosebumps. I get like chills on, is one last time. The
Oh,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
at the very last, when at the very end, when the ensemble comes in and everything. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
I get chills every time. So good, so good. So one question I do have, I listened to a interview that Christopher Jackson said once just recently, is that the role had a very harsh toll on his voice performing it 8 times a week on Broadway. Have you had the same situation, or have you or the show figured out a way to protect your voice having such a
So I always tell people, firstly, I have a God given talent, and God gave me the wisdom to be a good steward of my talent. So that means knowing how to protect my voice, how to warm up my voice, how to cool down my voice, and also knowing when I need rest. I have a really great vocal coach. His name is Elvin Thornton out of LA. If anybody ever wants a vocal coach, I recommend him. With that, I never really necessarily, and I mean this humbly, I never like lose my voice due to singing. There just maybe times where just my body is tired. And because, my voice is part of my body, I just sometimes would not, just don't have the extra push. And Hamilton tickets are expensive. So
yeah, yeah.
I have two amazing covers who, if I can't, they get the job done. But because of my technique and my background, like I said, I'm a gospel kid who trained classically. In gospel singing, There is no such thing as, oh, this is too high or I can't. It's go hard or go home. So when I started training classically and building a technique and a foundation to performing 8 shows a week, I was able to not have any inhibitions about pushing my limits and just figuring out how far this gift can go.
That's really great. That's really great. So, how would you say the audiences differ from city to city?
It differs. There are some audiences who the only thing they've seen is the Disney Plus. So now we're tasked with making sure they get an experience that, even though we're not Christopher Jackson, we're not Les, and we're not Lynn, making sure that we get them from the very beginning so that they can go on the journey with us. Because there are some misconceptions that people think that we're the Disney Plus class. I'd love one of those checks, but we're not. And then there are some audiences who like are getting the show for the very first time in their city. And those are usually like the rock star audiences that they've obsessed over the soundtrack. There are times when we can look out in the audience that we see people's mouths moving word for word. Those are really the best audiences. And then, just where we are politically, it never fails. About 99.9% of the time, line immigrants, we get the job done, really gets a big whale out of the audience. So that's
Love
always.
that. That's amazing. I love that. That's incredible. So to wrap things up, what would you say to someone who's on the fence about seeing Hamilton while it's here in Cleveland?
I would say come see Hamilton, because not only is it an amazing show with amazing dancing, amazing singing, revolutionary lyrics, and rapping, but it's a testament to how much more alike we are as a people than we are different. And it speaks to the power of unity and what democracy was set out to be, what it's becoming. It speaks to the power of choosing unity and choosing to understand the beauty in each other's differences and having each other's back as a nation. It really has just the power to change lives.
That's great. If you could go back and tell yourself one thing at the start of your career, what would it be? What would one piece of advice be?
Slow and steady builds a champion. It's speak primarily to the fresh out of college actor, or even the person just trying to get started. There's so much to learn. There's so much to appreciate while you're not in the spotlight. These are the times where you get to mess up a little bit and figure out what you can and can't do. And this is also where you get to live your life. I tell young people all the time, a thing that I've learned is absolutely chase after your dreams with fervor. Be passionate, be all about it. But as an artist, live your life, because these are the experiences that are going to make your art three-dimensional. These are the moments that are going to give you something to draw from. Fall in love, get your heart broken. Know what it's like to feel all of those things, because technique is great, but knowing how to add technique on top of some real life lived through experience helps you connect with people in a way that a textbook can't teach you.
Wow, that's so great. I love that. That's so great. AD, thank you so much for joining me. This was awesome. This is such a great conversation. I can't wait to see you in the role and the entire cast. You can catch AD and the entire cast of Hamilton June 17th through July 6th at KeyBank State Theater at Playhouse Square. Tickets are available at playhousesquare.org. AD, thanks for joining us. Any last messages?
Come see Hamilton. We cannot wait to have y'all in the room where it happens.
Yeah, I love it. And here's a special preview. Thanks to our friends at Hamilton. Check it out. And we will see you here in about a month.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's like 2 weeks away.
2 weeks, yeah.
I thought I misread the calendar. I was like, oh wait, no, that's way closer.
3 weeks, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming.
I'll see you
We're
soon.
coming to Cleveland.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks for watching. Thanks, AD.
Thank you, guys.
There's a million things I haven't done. Just you wait. What's your name, man? Alexander Hamilton. Look around, you're lucky we are to be alive right now. It's wanna be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. I wanna be in the room where it happens. I wanna be there.